Oh, good morning. Happy Motivational Monday. It's Monday. It's Monday. And we don't all have to work today. Well, some of us have to work today. Most of us don't have to work today. I hope everybody's having a good Monday so far. I know it is just crazy that nobody has to work. Like normally I'm like, hey guys, we're all like either off to work or at work or going to work or getting ready for work or whatever. And now we're not. But it's going to be nice to get some like relaxation time, you know? Scary times, but at least we all get to like rest and stay home. People don't have to go to work. Like it's crazy to even like think that that's even a thing. Like who would have ever thought that we would like be told mandatory to like stay home, you know what I mean? Unless you're at a job where you're still working. If that's the case, good job, because there's most jobs are not working at all, you know, they don't have anybody there. Chad's still working, my husband's still working, he's at work right now, which is crazy, but they're taking all the necessary precautions and everything like that. So for anybody that is still working, props to you. Like that's crazy, but you know, we still got to make that paper. You know what I mean? Okay, so you guys know it's Motivational Monday. I love Motivational Monday. It's awesome. And as like I said before, it's like normally everybody's off to work or getting ready for work. And, you know, hey, now people are not. We're not going to work. So now we can like chill and kick it and whatever and talk and chat and whatever. But, so Mondays are all about motivational, you know, just kind of like setting the tone for, you know, you set your tone for the morning, it sets it for the day, you know, and then you set your tone for the day, it sets it for the week, and so on and so forth, and then all of a sudden your year's made, you know what I mean? Really, just to kind of recap, so the first Motivational Monday, we talked about holding yourself accountable. Second Motivational Monday, we talked about believing in yourself. Third Motivational Monday, we talked about understanding your why you do the things you do, why you're at the job you're at, you know, just your why. What's your big why? The fourth was believing that you can succeed and you will, and that was actually the first chapter of the book that I have been talking about almost all these Mondays, okay? So for those of you that are just now jumping on that have not seen any of my Motivational Mondays, the first couple were just kind of, you know, just talking about different things, like I just said. But as of the fourth Motivational Monday, I started really diving into this book. There's a lot of people that have read this book. There's also a lot of people that have not read this book. It's The Magic of Thinking Big. Actually, and I find it very just odd, but also awesome that with pretty much every week that I have been talking about this book, it's been like really valuable with what's going on in life right now. So I don't know if that's just a coincidence or what, but it's been pretty crazy. And I know a lot of people don't have a lot of time to read books and stuff like that. So I'm pretty much like reading it. Me and my husband are reading it. And then, well, Chad's reading it. I'm taking notes and then going from there and kind of almost just giving you guys the cliff notes like in my own way to help everybody just stay as motivated as possible. That's pretty much, you know, what I'm doing. So the fourth was chapter 1, believing that you can succeed and you will. The fifth was curing yourself from excuse-itis. So I feel like there's so many people, including myself, that we make a lot of excuses to not do the things that we know we can do, but we just make a lot of excuses not to do them. The sixth was to build confidence and destroy fear. So that was a huge one. And then that was actually last Monday. And I thought that was just a super big coincidence because obviously last Monday was really when all this stuff started going on with our world and what's going on in our countries and stuff like that. And it's just like, whoa, you know, like destroying fear and actually like building confidence. And I just thought that was like perfect timing. And today we are talking about how to think big. Okay. So, and you guys know, like I always say, I have my notes because I'll just like, well, I'll start talking and squirrel off and whatever. So how big we think determines the size of our accomplishments. So if you are thinking small, your accomplishments aren't going to be so big. If you're thinking big, then your accomplishments are going to be big. It just really depends on exactly what you're wanting to do and how you want to think. Your mind is a very, very powerful thing. We've said that multiple times. But how big we think determines the size of our accomplishments. So if you don't think that you can amount to anything, if you don't think that you can accomplish anything, if you're negative all the time, et cetera, then, I mean, what do you think's going to happen? You're not going to have the big accomplishments. You're not going to feel a certain way about yourself. You're going to be down on yourself or on other people. So when you think big, it's going to determine the outcome of what's actually going to happen. Also, don't sell yourself short. Never. Don't ever sell yourself short. It's actually a huge weakness. So when you don't believe in yourself, then how are you supposed to believe in what you're doing or the people around you or whoever you work for? Or if you work for yourself, how are your employees supposed to believe in what you're doing, et cetera? You don't need to sell yourself short because it really is a huge weakness. Also, if you think one way, what's the best way I can explain this? If you think oh, gosh, I can do this, oh, I can get this job, or oh, I can, let's even say I can work out and lose 30 pounds, okay? And then you tell yourself right afterwards, you know what? I can't do that. This isn't going to work. How am I going to do this? This is going to be so hard. You're talking yourself out of it. You know what I mean? So don't think one way and then turn around and think another way. We are all put here to do something special. We're all here to be great. We're all put here for a reason, for a purpose. I actually watched this really cool podcast yesterday with Ed Milet and, oh gosh, it was this young girl. She's 26 years old and she's just a boss babe. She's so real. But she said, I have purpose on my back. And I was like, oh, I like that. You guys know I've said before, man, I'll take my shoe off and throw it at you guys. I don't have shoes on right now. But I'm telling you what, when she said that I have purpose on my back and that's what's gotten her where she is, she's 26 years old and she's a millionaire. What? She's made all these apps and these businesses and did all this stuff with the help of her dad. And gosh, I cannot remember her name. I will post it so you guys can see it. But, she thought one way and stepped into action and made it come true. So it's just like that. Don't be oh yes, I can do it, and then turn around and tell yourself that you can't. We all can do whatever we want to do. It's just some things take time. But if you take action and you do it, it's crazy what the outcome can be. So like I said, how we think or how big we think determines our accomplishments and the size of our accomplishments. Also, don't think that you're not good enough. You are totally good enough, you guys. Just like how I always say, it's Motivational Monday. You are good enough to put in your own mind, hey, I'm going to have a good day today. Or, hey, I'm going to knock this out of the park. Or, hey, I'm going to do this, that, the other, whatever at my job or at my business or with my employees or with my coworkers or whatever the case may be. Do not think that you're not good enough, because you are. And just because maybe you might be comparing your life to other people's lives or whatever, that's okay. You can say oh, I want to, do the things that maybe those people are doing, but you don't have to compare. You don't have to think that you're not good enough, because you are good enough. We're all good enough. It's just about the way we think about it. Know thyself. Know yourself, you guys, okay? Know that you're confident, you're strong, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're a freaking rock star, you're a boss babe, you're a badass. Just know, okay? Know thyself. Know that you can accomplish anything if you want to. Know that you are good enough. Just, and like I said, don't sell yourself short. Just know, okay? Know yourself. If you think negative, it makes and causes negative characteristics. So if you're thinking negative all the time, and if you're down on yourself and you're down on the people around you and you're just whatever, well then you're gonna develop negative characteristics in your own life, in your own brain, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just not, it's who wants to do that? Do you really want to be negative all the time? No, I highly doubt it. So it's but when you think positive, it changes everything. It develops positive characteristics, and people want that. People love it when people are positive. Everybody loves that, okay? Now, sometimes if you're a little too positive, people are she needs to shut up. You know what I mean? Or he needs to chill out. But at the same time, it's like, come on, you still can't help but smile. And that's the big picture of everything. When people are negative, you don't want to be around them. When people are positive, you're like, damn, I want some of that, So it's all about the way you think, guys. And I'm going to constantly say that over and over again. Also, you need to be relatable, okay? Relatable even in like vocabulary, your life, etc. Yes, not everybody's the same, nor do we want everybody to be the same. Gosh, would that not be so boring if all of us were exactly the same? Like, that would be awful if we were all the same. But you still need to be relatable, okay? Like, this is a big part of how to think big, okay? Is that you need to be relatable to people. In a part of this book, I was cracking up laughing because he was saying pretty much, how we've all been told, oh, we all need to have a big vocabulary. Oh, we all need to, not use small words. We need to just have a huge, huge, big vocabulary. And it's like, okay, I understand that, but not everybody had the, I guess, benefits to get a big vocabulary. I mean, take me, for example. I left high school sophomore year, you guys, okay? I am no freaking genius here. I'm not like on top of the honor roll or whatever. Like, I didn't get that far, okay? And I don't have a huge, huge vocabulary. I have learned over the years to develop a better vocabulary professionally and all of that. But at the same time, like, my vocabulary isn't huge. So whenever I'm talking to different people, or when you guys are talking to different people, you kind of like relate the way you talk to however the person's like, however you feel the person is. So if you feel like a person's super intelligent or whatever, you want to try to be relatable and try to be just as intelligent. Yes, maybe you may not be on that same level or whatever, but you still try to, put yourself out there as being possibly, on the same level, at least vocabulary is maybe someone else's. But at the same time, when you're talking to somebody else, you may not act the same way. So it's all about, who you're in front of and what's going on. But being relatable is huge. And you don't always have to have the same vocabulary, the same life goals, or the same whatever. Everybody's different, and that's perfect. Like, who wants to be the same? That would be so boring. Also, so this was a good one, and this was on page 79. There's like different ways. So there's phrases that create small negative mind images. So like everybody, I feel like, looks at things as an image, okay? Like we're visual people. Most of us are very visual people. We like to see it, we like to hear it, touch it, smell it, whatever the case may be, we're visual about it. So there's some negative visuals that, like phrases that create like pretty much, bad things in your mind or whatever. And then there's positive ways to create, phrases in images in your mind as well. So there's like a couple different things. It is said, let's see, I've tried, but the product won't sell. Like, this is just kind of a little like example, okay? I've tried, but the product won't sell. People don't want it. So that's like a negative image. So when someone tells you, oh gosh, that product's not going to sell, nobody wants that, your instant image in your brain is like, geez, okay, I guess nobody wants that. Like, you're instantly negative, right? But instead, you could have said, so far, I've not been able to sell this product, but I know it's good, and I'm going to find the formula that will put it together. So it's like the way you think about it. So you saying it, I've tried the product, but it won't sell, people don't want it. It's like, whoa, that image that you get put in your head is like, okay, like, I guess I can't do this. But then when you say, hey, so far I've not been able to sell it, and that's okay, but I'm going to find out what's going on, and I'm going to find the formula, and I'm going to put it together, and it's going to be great. Then you're like, oh, geez, okay, so yeah, they've had a little bit of a hard time, like, selling whatever, but they're going to figure it out, and we're going to do this, So the images are just so different. It changes everything, right? So it's just about the way you think about stuff, you guys. That's just like a little example of like what I'm talking about. How you can, if there's a problem, fix it, Even like with words, like we can say, oh my gosh, there's a problem. Or you can say, you know what, there's a challenge. It's the same thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about the way you think about it, and it's all about the way that you are saying it. When you tell somebody, gosh, we have a problem, man, the instant image in everybody's head is, oh shit, we have a problem. How are we going to fix this? This is going to be bad. Oh my gosh, I can't do this. But then if you say, oh man, we have a challenge, people are like, challenge? What? Most people like a challenge. If it can show that they can do something good and they can figure it out, people like a challenge. So instead of saying problem, say challenge. You know what I mean? Like the image in your brain is too different and you're talking about the same thing, right? Also, let's see. Oh, even like with money. Oh man, we have a big expense. This is going to be really bad. Like, gosh, this is going to cost us a lot of money. Or you can say, we have a big investment. There's two, like the words are the same thing. They're both expenses. They're both investments. But when you say, gosh, we have a really big expense, this is going to be crazy. And then you turn it into, man, this is going to be a great investment. Everything changes. It changes the whole thing. Like it's just crazy, okay? Also, there's 4 ways to develop the big thinking vocabulary, right? So when this whole thing is about how to think big, okay? So there's 4 different ways to develop big thinking as far as the vocabulary is concerned. So the first thing is big, positive, cheerful words and phrases to describe how you feel. So again, like I said, you guys, for the people that are just hopping on, this is 4 ways to develop big thinking vocabulary. 1, big, positive, cheerful words and phrases to describe how you feel. So when you're excited about something, when you feel a certain way about something, when you're amped and pumped and you know you can do this and everything's just great and positive and you know there's going to be battles and there's going to be sacrifices and there's going to be challenges and it's going to be crazy sometimes, but when you are positive and you're cheerful and you have the energy, people will eat it up. People will eat it up. It's crazy what can happen when you describe how you feel about something, and when you're that passionate about something, it changes everything, okay? Number 2, use bright, cheerful, or favorable words or phrases to describe other people. So when you're at work and let's say your boss comes up to you and they're looking to promote somebody, and let's say, I don't know, Dave is up for a promotion and the boss is going around asking the employees, oh, how do you guys think that Dave, is at this job or that job or whatever? And you say, oh, Dave, he has his problems, and you are negative about that person. That shows not only the way that you think inside about other people, but it also shows your boss or whoever else you're talking to about this other person. It shows them that, okay, this person's kind of negative about everybody. Okay, but when you use bright, cheerful, or favorable words and phrases to describe other people, when you're like, man, Dave's a freaking rock star, he's gonna kill the game at this job, your boss is like, oh man, not only is he or she a team player, but Dave may be good for this position. It changes everything, okay? 3, use positive language to encourage others. So when you're negative to people, you guys, and I will say this till the end of time, you put out negativity comes back to you. So when you're actually positive and you use positive language to encourage other people, it changes the game. It changes the game, okay? When you're negative all the time and you're negative about other people and your language is negative about other people and you can't encourage other people, you're not a team player. I always say teamwork makes the dream work, okay? Teamwork makes the dream work. If you're negative about everybody, nobody's going to want to be a part of your team, okay? We're talking about how to think big here. And if you're negative about everybody and you can't encourage people around you, people are not going to want to be around you, okay? So you need to put out positive language. You need to encourage others. It is what it is. That's how it should be. Why are we going to be negative about each other? It's just not fair. So just be positive. Encourage people. Also, number 4, last but certainly not least, Use positive words to outline plans to others. So when you actually are positive about whatever your goal may be, whatever your end result may be, or whatever you're trying to do. Good morning, Jason. When you're positive and you outline those plans to people, people see the big picture. Because when there's a plan, that means there's a goal. When there's a goal, that means that there was a dream at some point. When there's a dream and a goal, that means it's going to end up being some type of, it's going to end in reality. You know what I mean? So when people have steps to follow, they're like, oh, okay, like this sounds awesome. You know what I mean? Like I can get on board with this. So when you're actually positive and you use positive words, positive language, you're encouraging and you outline plans for people, that makes the whole magic of thinking big and how to think big. It gets all put into perspective, right? So you have to not just think about the way that you're thinking, but you have to think about the way that other people are thinking too. Also, build castles, don't dig graves, okay? Sometimes, you know, when you're talking to somebody and they're putting their foot in your mouth and you're like, man, you're just digging that grave. Like, all right, you know, it's like, okay? You want to build castles, you guys. You don't want to dig graves. Don't put your foot in your mouth. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again, that goes with the huge picture of how to think big. If you think big and you're positive and you're doing all these things, even just like within the 4 ways, as far as like developing big thinking vocabulary and stuff, it's like, you don't want to build a grave, okay? You want to build castles and you want people to be a part of those castles because like I've said before, it's lonely at the top and nobody wants to be at the top by themselves. You want to bring people with you. Some are going to follow, some are going to stay behind. It is what it is. It's life. There's nothing we can do about it. Also, see what can be, not what just is, okay? So you may be thinking right now, oh, that may not work or this may not do what I want it to do or whatever. Don't just think about what's going on right now. Think about what it can be, like what it is, okay? Like, oh, is this idea you have, is this something that can flourish to something huge? Or are you just going to stay in the moment and be like, oh, that's not really something that is going to do anything right now? No, think about what it is and how it can grow and then go from there, okay? So that's just a couple little things about how you can think big, right? Also, look at things not as they are, but as they can be. Just like I just said, look at things how they can be, what they can develop to, not just about what they are in this moment in time. Everybody wants to make money, right? Okay, we can use that as an example. Everybody wants to be a millionaire, let's just say. Who doesn't want to be a millionaire? But at the same time, it's like, right now, if you're first developing a business, let's say, so you can get to that point, if you're just now, your business is just a little baby thing and you're wanting to turn it into this huge thing, that's fine and you can do that. But it's maybe small right now and that's okay. But you got to think about like what it's going to turn into and what it can be in the future. And again, that's going to change everything. The way you mentally think about all of it makes a huge, huge difference. So don't always just stay in the present moment. Think about what can happen in the future too, okay? Also, visualization. Visualization, if I can even say that dang word. It's Monday, you guys, okay? You know what I'm saying. Anyway, adds value to everything. Okay, so when you actually visualize what's going on and you really look at the big picture, I think that's why a lot of people say like make vision boards and stuff. Like I even made one not that long ago and I've showed you guys. But when you visualize what's actually going on and what you want, it seems that it comes to life. Like, have you ever watched like different people that have made vision boards that are super successful and they go back and they're like, hey, whenever I was like 10, I made this, or whenever I was like 20, I made this, or 30, or whatever the case may be. And now they're like, you know, older, or maybe a couple years later, I don't know. And they're like, hey, this was on my vision board and I'm doing it. Or that was on my vision board and I did that a couple years ago, or that. And it's like, it all came to life. It's crazy. So visualization adds value to everything because it really, really does. Okay. Also, A big thinker always visualizes what can be done in the future. He's not just stuck in the present. So, like I said before, even though something may be going on, I have an itch on my nose, squirrel, but even though you may be in the present moment of what's actually going on and how things are right now, you need to think about what the future holds. Like, your future's everything, you guys, and I even have struggled with that too. I'm like, oh man. And then I'm like, wait a second, you know what? I'm doing all this for a reason. It's going to be okay. In the future, it's going to pay off. It may take some time, and that's okay, Again, it's always about the way you think about it, right? If you're positive, positive comes back, or positivity comes back. If you're negative, negativity comes back. So also see what can be, not just what is. And that's pretty much what I've been talking about the whole time. Just because something is something right now doesn't mean that it can't become something bigger. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. Okay. People who don't have much look at themselves as they are now. That's all they see. They don't see a future. They just see a miserable present. So people that don't have much, and this could be anybody. I'm not talking to strictly, a specific type of person or whatever. But people that don't have much, they're negative because they don't have a lot, right? So they can't see what can be. They're just in the present moment that they don't have anything, and then all they're thinking about is just how they're miserable. They don't see what the future can hold, okay? So don't be one of those people. Even if you don't have much right now, or you're struggling, or life's really hard, or whatever the case may be, it's okay. Like, your struggles are going to make you stronger, and that strength is going to lead to success. And it may take a long time. It may take 6 months. It may take 5 years. It may take 10 years or 20 years. But at the end of the day, that struggle that you went through is going to amount to something. Our struggles aren't just there to struggle. It's not just there for no reason. It's there for a bigger purpose, and you have to realize that and know that whatever you're going through right now, later in the future, you're going to be like, I'm so glad I went through that because it taught me this, that, and the other. You know what I mean? So it changes the game. Also, it isn't what one has that's important. Rather, it's how much one is planning to get or to do with it that counts. And that's planning to do with it that counts. So it isn't what one has that's important. It's about what one is planning to do with it that counts. And that's huge, you guys. So just like people say, oh, I want money, okay? Once you get to that point, it's like, or I want that relationship or whatever. Once you get to that point, it's like, okay, well, now I have it. So what do I do now? So it's not about you having it. It's about what you do with it, okay? Same with money, with a relationship, with a career, with anything. It's not about having that job or that money or that relationship. It's about what you do with that job, that money, and that relationship. Also, add value to things, okay? Add value to people. When you actually, so to bring out the best, you have to visualize the best. So if you think that somebody is, even just taking relationships with human to human interaction, okay? When you think, oh gosh, that person doesn't have it. Oh, that person can't do this. Oh, no. That's instantly you're putting that person down, not only in your head, but in the people's heads around you and to that person, okay? So that's not going to bring the best out of that person. That's not going to do anything. It's actually just going to make the situation a whole lot more negative, and then that person's just going to be down on themselves, and then you never know what can happen at that point, okay? So you need to think the best about that person to bring out the best in that person. And that's how so many things change and develop and grow. This I love. I love this. Okay. So it says, I'm doing my job and that's good enough. That attitude is small and negative thinking. Okay. Big thinking or big thinkers see themselves as members of the team, and also winning or losing as a team, not by themselves. So when you're at your job or whatever the case may be, and you're like, you know what, I'm doing my job and that's good enough. That's negative. That's small-minded. That's just not, that's an attitude. You know what I mean? So, but when you think big, you think as a team, you think as yourself as, you know, hey, if I win, if I lose, this is a team effort. You know, I'm going to affect the team as well. Not just yourself. Changes everything, okay? So don't just think about yourself. Think about everybody else around you too. Whether you are an employee or you're an employer or whatever's going on, when you think of everything as a team and you think that big picture, you're not just thinking about yourself. It's not selfish. You know what I mean? You're thinking bigger than what it is. Also, don't let petty things get in your way. Don't be petty. Ask yourself, is it really worth it? Should I really get mad about that said thing? Should I really be upset about what that person did or said or how they acted or whatever? Is it really worth it? Or is it petty? You know? Also, is it important? Is it worth it? Is it important? If it's not, it's petty. Let it go. Also, do you want to be a petty thinker or a big thinker? Okay, so if you're constantly like worrying about the petty things that really don't matter, then all that time you're thinking about the pettiness, all the big things that you could be thinking about are thrown out the window because you're so concerned about the petty crap that doesn't matter when you could be thinking a lot bigger, okay? Also, like negative talk. So when you talk negative, when you're mean, when you're angry, when you're rude, etc., all it does is just bring out the negativity. So do you want to talk negative or do you want to talk positive? I mean, really, the choice is yours. Also, there's a little page in here. I think it's, page 98. So there's like a couple examples that you can even go by. So like, let's take the future, for example. So the situation is future. The petty thinker's approach is going to be, views the future as limited. So that's petty thinking, that, oh, my future isn't going to amount to anything. Oh, that person's future isn't going to amount to anything. But a big thinker, a positive thinker, is going to look at it as, you're going to see the future as very promising. You know what I mean? That's just one example. Work. You can take work as a situation, and a petty thinker is going to look for the ways to avoid work, okay? A big thinker is going to look for more ways and things to do, especially to help others. So those are just a couple examples right there, you guys. You know what I mean? Like, it's all about the way you think of it. So you can think petty or you can think big. Again, the choice is 100% yours, okay? And remember, it pays in every way to think big. If you think small, none of that's going to pay off. If you think big, it's going to pay off, okay? So just to kind of recap what we went over today, we were talking about the ways to think big, how to think big. So don't sell yourself short. Use big thinking vocabulary. Stretch your visions. Okay, so make a vision board. Think about your visions. Visualize things. Get the big view of your job. So whether you're an employee or employer, think big about what's actually going on. Don't think small or think petty. Think above the trivial things. So when things are bad, know that even though they may be bad right now, you can fix them. There's ways to fix them. And those mistakes, and I've said this before, when you make mistakes or you have struggles and then you go to start over again, you're not starting at the beginning. You're starting from experience. So just remember that the trials and the tribulations and all those things are going to amount to something bigger, and you're going to learn from them, and it's just going to change everything. It's going to change the game, okay? As you guys know, I always end on a quote. I always end on a quote. I love my quotes. It's like my thing. And this one it's actually at the end of that chapter, which I love it. So it's by David J. Schwartz, and it says, grow big by thinking big. So it's very short, very sweet, but it's to the point, okay? It's grow big by thinking big, okay? So this whole entire podcast today, this live podcast, was all about how to think big. So that quote fits perfect. Grow big by thinking big, and that's by David J. Schwartz. So I thought that was an incredible chapter, and I think that it really works good with this time too. You know what I mean? We're in a crazy time in our country. Most people are laid off work, or they don't, things aren't going right. Kids are out of school. I mean, it's just crazy, you guys. It's insane what's going on, but we're in some trials and tribulations right now. But when we think about the big picture, all of it's going to get better. Like, this too shall pass, like everybody says. So it's like everything's going to be fine. So I really think that this chapter, How to Think Big, really just puts into perspective like what's even going on right now. It's crazy. It's a scary time. There's a lot of fear out there. There's a lot of chaos, a lot of media. But at the end of the day, we're all going to get through this, and everything's going to be okay, and we're going to come out stronger because of it. And that's really the only way you can think about it. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of the recap. That's kind of, what I think about the chapter. Also, I hope that you guys learned something new. I hope you guys enjoyed today's live. If you have any questions, concerns, anything like that, just let me know. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful Monday. Think positive, be brave. Get all the cuddles, because, we get to relax right now and just, be happy. I know we're in a crazy situation, but that's okay, and we're all going to get through it. We're a community. We're going to grow together, and it's going to be even better once we get out of this. So I hope you guys all have an amazing Monday. Love you guys. Bye.